Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of the Irish Wrestling Podcast. This is your Clash of the Castle prediction special. I'm gladly joined today by Billy Strachan from the Scottish Wrestling Network. We're going to introduce Billy to you. Billy's going to tell us a little bit about himself, his experiences in the wrestling world, and how he got into podcasting, and we'll get into the predictions for Clash of the Castle first. So, Billy, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm
How
I'm
are you
very excited about this. We've kind of crossed paths
We
on the
have,
TNA press passes, so
yeah.
I'm glad that we're actually
They
getting to
always they
meet
always
face
seem
to
to
face.
put us together. It's either you go first or I go first, and then one of us is next.
I know it's great. I know when you come up, I'm like, that's fine. I'll basically make sure
You're
my
next.
camera's ready and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we're ready to go.
Get the
But yeah,
get unmuted and get the camera going.
I'll
Now,
say anyway. Sorry, I'm going
ho-
to host mode. I'm trying to go into host mode, and I'm
host,
not the
host.
host.
If you want to host, absolutely you can
No,
host.
no, you go, you go.
How did you? Well, I probably grew up watching wrestling, but how did you end up in podcasting and what's your background?
So yeah, I'm old. So I started watching wrestling
Me too.
late 90s. So
Mm,
98, 99 is when I started getting into it. First memory being Kane and The Undertaker in an Inferno match. So that was great for an 8-year-old to see and be traumatized for life. Um, as far as podcasting goes, I started that. I dabbled with it a little bit.
mm,
I went to my first ever Scottish wrestling show back in 2012. And then 2013, I wanted to kind of do something because I really enjoyed it. I wanted to do something that reports all of Scottish wrestling.
mm.
So I did a YouTube show for 4 episodes. I used a PS3 I Create to edit it together. And it was called OSW TV because I was in the same Facebook group, well,
Yeah,
people group and Facebook group with Jay Hunter. He was one of the admins. I was an admin of this group. Um, so I did that. It didn't really take off. I didn't have
yeah.
enough time or know how to do it. And then a little pandemic happened, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do a podcast. I'll set up Zoom. I'll see what happens. And that was 4 years ago this month, and it's still going relatively strong. The YouTube
Yeah.
numbers don't reflect that, but the audio numbers are phenomenal. So
Yeah.
it's going very well. I think.
Audio seems to be a better way. Like YouTube is so hit or miss. Like you have one bad, if you have one bad view or one bad video on YouTube, it can fuck up your algorithm.
Mhm.
Whereas Spotify and the audio side of things it just keeps growing and growing. Like seeing people are see, I don't know what the method is or what the algorithm for Spotify or the audio side is, but it seems to grow a lot quicker on that side of
Well,
things than it does on YouTube.
we're just about to. Well, we're at 40. Probably by the time this goes out, we'll probably hit about 42K listens. So that's pretty good. But
That's massive.
our audio, our video kind of, yeah, it's hit or miss. We kind of get a really good episode or, and then you think, oh, this is going to be the one that's going to
Yeah.
go everywhere. And then it just doesn't do anything on video side of things. It's just, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't know
It's
anything about
YouTube's
this stuff.
algorithm.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it either. I'm just trying to study it, and just basically you have to put out videos at certain times that where all your subscribers or whoever your viewers are. That should be your time, but that doesn't work half the time either. Like, and we got a copyright strike a while back, and it really messed up. It was like for 90 days there was a strike on it, and our channel went to shit. Like, and it was just like I was like, oh, I'm giving up. I had enough. I'm not putting stuff on YouTube anymore. We have a TikTok account that's got like 10,000 followers, and you can put up the 60-minute videos on there now. So
Oh,
I'm not I haven't put up any full length stuff. I put up interviews and stuff, but I haven't put up full podcasts on it yet because who wants to sit in TikTok for an hour with your phone like that?
with one video, you can get at least like 10,000 videos in that hour. No bother on TikTok.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, good to know. I might dabble with that a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing I've come up to 300 episodes of the main podcast, and I still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'll only find out.
I don't think anybody knows really. Like you look at some of the big ones on YouTube and you're like, sometimes you wonder, do they even know? It's just they've been around so long. That's why they get so many. Sometimes you hear them talking about stuff and it's just like, I don't know how they get on. I don't know how they have so many subscribers. Sometimes they're just not talking sense at all.
Yeah, yeah, and it's ones that have like the big name guests, and then when you try
Mm.
to get them, and they go, "Oh, it's this much." I'm like, ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It takes away the integrity
I
of
know. Yeah.
podcasting for me. I like the chase a little bit,
Yeah. It's
but whatever
yeah.
works for folk.
Yeah. Yeah. Each
Don't
to their
point
own.
one.
Each to
Exactly.
their own. What's the independent scene like in Scotland? Like, people don't realize how big how long it is from top to bottom in Scotland. People just think, oh, it's in the UK and it's part of it. Like, but it's a big country. Like, there's a lot of in between when it comes to towns and cities. There's a lot of gaps in between. Like, so is there a lot of independent wrestling around there, or is it mainly focused on the south? Or
Quite a lot. I mean, the furthest north that we have that we cover, the Royal We, because I do pretty much everything, is Combat League, and that's up in
mm,
Thurso. And then round about the central belt, round about the bottom part, we cover Target, which is like
yeah,
Carlisle, but they come up to like Dumfries and all that kind of stuff. So it really is widespread. You can probably find shows just about anywhere within a 100-mile radius. Some good, some bad, some in
yeah,
between, but some creamy middles. But yeah, there's quite a lot going on. I mean, just taking this weekend coming up for Clash at the Castle, there's like 9 events in total, all within a an hour distance of Glasgow. It's mad. I know everyone's wanting a piece of the pie. That's why, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
it's just crazy to think. And if anything, it's making me looking. It just makes me tired looking at it, thinking I'm going to try and source all of these results during that week, and I'm just thinking of going. Oh, Jesus, this is going to be a tough task.
Do,
But
do they do they all get recorded, or do you do when you review stuff, do you go back and watch everything, or do you just get results off people and review
uh,
them? Or,
get results really. It seems to be not a lot of places really upload stuff, which is very
yeah,
irritating for
I
me
know it's
because then
hard.
I can see photos.
Mm,
Some places try to put up some clips and that, but it's very difficult to get hold of stuff. I mean, only last weekend, Iron Girders put up a show on Twitch, and I didn't know until about an hour into it, and I thought this is incredible. Loaded up Twitch on my PS4, which took forever, so I missed 2 matches, and then went and watched the rest of it on it, and it was amazing. So I'm hoping more places like try things like that.
they
I know
should.
Grassroots and Combat League, Community Pro, Ravy Davies promotion,
Yeah,
they've tried to do things through TikTok, and as we already established, who's going to sit for like that for however long watching a show? But
yeah,
Twitch is amazing. It can load up on your TV and it's fantastic. So yeah, it's as far as watching stuff, it's mainly live. If I don't see it live, then I don't really get a chance or time to
yeah,
watch it. So that's why a lot of my stuff that I review is WrestleZone because that's my local promotion. It's the one I go to the most frequently anyway.
yeah. You had the one up recently. It was Joe Hendry. Is he there a lot? Is that I'm not sure what part of Scotland is he from actually.
He's Edinburgh, so
Is he
I've
Edinburgh?
I've only ever seen Joe wrestle live twice.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, so once for ICW when they came to Aberdeen, and then most recently, I was down in Edinburgh to see Hamilton. And conveniently enough, Discovery had a show that weekend. So we saw Hamilton on the Saturday and then went to see
Yeah,
Discovery on the Sunday. So
brilliant.
that was a bonus for me because it was the wife's trip to go see Hamilton, which I wasn't complaining. Hamilton's incredible.
Is it good?
Oh, it's amazing.
Is it?
But to see wrestling the same weekend, I was like, perfect weekend. I'll 100% take it.
Brilliant. Like I said, we're here to talk about Clash of the Castle. It had to happen. I know there's a few other Scottish people who aren't on the card, and Gallus were on. Joe Coffey and the lads were on NXT Battleground. Did you? I know you mentioned you watch clips of it. Did you get a chance to see any of the triple threat with Joe Coffey and?
I saw Obafemi rising from the dead. That
Mm,
was amazing. But yeah, I've seen bits and pieces. I like the social media antics of Gallus at the moment.
mm.
They're just picking up on all the negativity and just going, "Well, we're on the show, so what you
It's
gonna do about it?" kind of thing. So it's
it's
good
cool that
fun.
they're getting that kind of that spotlight on them now. I think
Mhm.
whether it's a knock-on effect for them training the Rock for WrestleMania or what, they seem to be getting a lot more airtime. I'm not. There were talks a few weeks ago that they may even just get pushed straight onto the main roster. Um,
I wouldn't be surprised, if
yeah,
they're gonna be there and like kind of I did like a wee like fantasy booking thing before the full card was announced and went, well, what if that's who neutralizes the Judgment Day? So not
yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
a face turn anywhere else, but in Scotland to see
You're
the Gallus boys come out to help Drew, which would be hilarious in itself when it's Celtic on one side,
I
Rangers the
know,
other.
yeah, yeah,
To do that would just be like just getting everyone on it. I know it's fan service to get all the Scottish wrestlers on, and if they do a Wyatt 60s, then that maybe covers
mm,
Nikki Cross.
yeah,
But you're trying to make this a viable market again when NXT UK kind of didn't do great to the Scottish market and to
yeah.
the UK market. But just give us some fan service. Put them all on. Put Gallus over. Why not?
They should like I was there was a lot of people giving out about the Backlash show that there wasn't any Europeans, like there wasn't anybody from Europe actually on the card as in an advertised match. There was, people like JD or people that got getting involved in matches and stuff, but there wasn't actually anybody officially from Europe on the card. I think maybe just one person got I'm not sure, was it pre-show match? I'm not sure who it was. I think it was just
Well,
one
what we're
person.
saying is there's no Rene Dupree. So what was the point? You know?
Yeah, what's going on? Like even Sami Zayn wasn't on the card. Who I know Kevin Owens was like, but Sami Zayn, kind of French Canadian as well. I'm surprised that he wasn't on the card at all. So I'm glad that they're actually giving us some local talent that are going to get a chance to shine in front of their I'll say home fans, like, because I'm sure most of them are all for in and around that area anyway. So, the first match we're going to talk about involves two. We've got Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn against Jade, Cargill, and Bianca Belair for the women's tag team titles. How do you feel they've put, do you feel like they've put the tag team titles on a higher pedestal now with Bianca and Jade being champions?
Yeah, but I think they've run into a problem of they've put Bianca and Jade with the titles, and then they've looked at the tag team division and went, "Oh no, we've done this, and we haven't built up tag teams, or we've thrown together tag teams with that are
Mm,
a little undercooked at the same time." So when I was doing this fantasy write up, I put Alba Fire and Isle Dawn versus Bianca and Jade because I thought, you know, let's rinse the Scottish crowd
yeah.
as much as we can. But my concern was like, have they done enough to make Alba, and have they got enough time to make Alba and Isla a viable threat?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they kind of have, but at the same time, I don't think this is going to be one that's there's going to be that much doubt on who's going to win
Hmm.
because Bianca and Jade are so formidable. Even
Yeah.
with the third team of Shayna, Baszler, and
Yeah, I
Zoe
forgot to
Stark in
mention
there,
Shayna and Zoe, yeah.
they're just kind of there. I don't.
Yeah.
They seem to be the ones that they'll take the pin, so
Hmm.
people don't boo Jade and Bianca too much. If they pinned Isla or Alba, then
The
they'll probably
riot.
get it'll be a bit of a riot. So they've got Shayna and Zoe, most likely Zoe, there to take the pin and take the heat off them a little bit. But I think it's going to be a good bit of fun. But it's I think it needs a bit more time to cook.
It definitely did. It definitely did. It's obviously too soon for Bianca and Jade to drop the titles. Like if they're ever going to make the titles relevant and keep them, they have been elevated. I think to somewhere they've never been before. The tag titles, even with when Sasha and Naomi were champions, they rarely got this much airtime, this much screen time as champions. So, I'm looking forward to the match. I think it's going to be good. I'm glad that I and Alba, we'll call them the WWE names, not from the original Kaylee Ray or any other names that they had in the past. Like, but I hope they get enough time in the ring. I hope I hope it's not a pre-show match. I hope they actually, whether they open the show or not, or it's midway between, or maybe second last match or something. I think hopefully get enough of time. It's not just a 5 minute squash match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're looking at the card here, we've got one or two that I think may open it. But I mean, it could be a case of Drew wants to get that first love from the crowd. But I prefer that to be main event, which we'll speak about
Yeah,
in a little bit.
I think so. Well, we'll start with the other one. So the I Quit match, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. What was your thoughts? Dave Meltzer. I don't really care about his ratings, like, but he gave them he did give them a 5-star rating, didn't he?
I know, but it's not 6.5 star anymore or
No.
6.75. It's just a lowly 5 star. Um, I'm welcome to this match. I think Cody and AJ are two of the best. It's Cody may not be as in rings like at the standard of in-ring prowess of AJ Styles, but he's got such an emotive character that you kind of support Cody Rhodes. You get in his story, not to use that
Yeah, yeah,
cliched phrase, but you get in the story of his matches because you just believe in him. I loved his ring. Have you seen the tease for his ring jacket
yeah, yeah.
that he's put up, which looks incredible? More pander, just pander to
Oh yeah,
us.
absolutely.
Love it. I absolutely love it. As far as an I Quit match, we've seen AJ Styles put on some amazing matches. Like, remember Dean Ambrose with the whole 450 through the table at the
Yeah.
outside. I saw a clip recently of that. Um, it's just a case how they are they going to be able to top Backlash is the next thing, or are people going to go, well, it wasn't as good as Backlash. Um, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, they do run the risk of trying to compare to the match at Backlash, which was, I'm going to say phenomenal on purpose. Like, but I quit matches are hit and miss. They had a high quit match in AEW recently with Adam Copeland and Christian. It was great right up until the very end, and the I quit part of it was just really, I don't know. I didn't like the way they made Christian say I quit. Continually kicking him in the balls and threatening him with a bat with full of nails. Um,
I like it in concept, but
yeah,
seeing it is not as fun
it
because
didn't
I like the idea of just going, how did you make him quit? Kicked him in the balls a
kicked him in the
lot. I'm
balls
like, that's
repeatedly.
that's incredible. And then you watch it, you go, all right,
Yeah,
this isn't as fun as I thought it was
it's
going to be.
not. It's not at all. So I'm presuming like it's gonna be AJ saying it, but I saw somebody saying something online recently about AJ pulling a rock on Mankind where
Mm.
they get Cody taped saying I quit maybe on SmackDown on Friday night and then plays it over the arena and wins the title, but they're not going to take the title off Cody either. So I'm curious to see how they actually make AJ say I quit, after threatening to retire, pulling the Mark Henry, which was really well done as well. I really enjoyed that. So I don't know how they go around it because Gallows and Anderson are along with Cody as well. So I quit matches are no disqualification, so they're going to be involved as well. So I still think Cody's going to win. I'm curious to see how they go down the road of making AJ quit.
Yeah, because after all that, with AJ's kind of desperation, it's going to have to be quite a big thing that causes it.
Mm,
Um, I yeah, I don't know how that would be because I'm trying to think of previous endings to I Quit matches, and I don't know why the only one that's coming into my head is Super Cena against The Miz when he got DDT'd on concrete and then somehow Cena'd up and put him in the STF, and that
yeah,
was the quit. So yeah, there's some terrible ways that I Quit matches have ended. Maybe it could be like John Cena Batista. Rhodes is going to threaten to do something, and then Styles quits, and then Rhodes does it anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That kind of thing. But then where does AJ go from there? Does he go to TNA for a summer?
Why not? If he's going to retire soon enough, anyway, you might as well
Yeah,
go off
get
and
get AJ and Moose, and then
AJ and
AJ
Moose,
and
AJ, Josh Alexander, or
yeah,
fucking
get some pick off some dream matches. Maybe bump a rating at TNA, and then come
yeah.
back and go off into the sunset at WrestleMania or wherever.
No, they could
Uh,
also. You mentioned the Wyatt Six earlier. They could go down that route as well of Wyatt's coming out and threatening to kill Gallows and Anderson and Mishin, and maybe he has to quit to save them, and that sets up a feud with the new Wyatt Six family, maybe something down the road.
yeah. But interested to see how that happens.
Mm.
But I suppose when they're in an arena, they don't have to rely on that if that match is first. They don't have to
Yeah,
rely on daylight or anything. They can maybe do something like that. And I don't know how. Yeah, that's
have
one of
you
those
been?
things where I don't know if I'll like it, but I'll be interested to see it.
Yeah, Have you been in the Hydro before for anything?
I've been in the Hydro once, not for wrestling. It was to see McFly, and it was amazing. But it's one of those venues where I do hear there's not a bad seat in the house kind of
Yeah,
thing. And when I went in, I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be bigger. I thought it was going to be like higher up, but it seems like you'd probably get a pretty decent view,
yeah, yeah.
whether you've spent the 13 grand or the lower end tickets 300 on it.
Crazy,
It's
crazy
just
prices.
mad. Yeah, I'm quite happy
Absolutely.
just pay 9.99 and to have it in the comfort of my own home and no BO near me as well. That would be nice.
That's always a bonus.
Aye, absolutely.
Sami Zayn and Chad Gable for the Intercontinental title. Chad's finally getting his one-on-one rematch with Sami. What have you thought about this whole story between Sami and Chad and Otis and the rest of the Alpha Academy?
I think it makes it all the more interesting when you know like the behind the scenes. One of the few times where behind the scenes stuff makes a match more interesting
Mm.
when you know that Chad hasn't actually put pen to paper and signed his contract yet, or as far as we're aware, as far as
Yeah, yeah.
people are telling
Hasn't
the
been
world
released
anyway.
yet. Yeah, yeah.
So it makes you think, oh well, if Chad wins, then surely he's signed, or is he going to do a CM Punk and just disappear with the belt, and we end up with a two intercontinental title situation again, which I think that's
I
how
wouldn't.
Sami's previous reign
Yeah,
ended up
yeah. The,
being.
the ladder match wasn't it AJ and Jeff Hardy, right? Didn't
That
it?
was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At the pandemic
Oh,
WrestleMania.
that's whenever they handcuffed Jeff's ear. Didn't handcuff
Oh
the hook in
yes,
Jeff's ear? Yeah, yeah.
yes,
That
yeah. I
was
watched that on the
wicked.
Thunderdome. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was
I,
probably one of the memories of the Thunderdome that actually stayed in my head.
so that could be it, or Sami straight up wins and that's it. But it has to be Chad, right? You can't do all of this
It
not to
better
have
be
Chad
after
win.
all this because I'm not saying I hate it, but it's kind of getting on my nerves now. This whole stuff, like of if Otis is going to turn or if he's not going to turn. So like they're obviously going to have to play a factor here where they keep Otis on a leash for another while and maybe get him to SummerSlam and a match with Chad for
I
the
think I saw
title.
someone say, it might be Cultaholic actually, saying that not in these exact words, but Triple H knows how to knows Stephanie must be McMahon must be very happy because he's very good at foreplay,
Mm.
but the climax is where he kind of falls down
Mm.
because he seems to be able to tease it, tease it, tease it, and then maybe the ending's just a bit, ah, okay, cool. Oh, there's the next thing then. Tease it, tease it, tease it. Ah, so yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably possibly one of the kind of weaknesses that the Triple H
Yeah.
era has is it teases so well, but then the end product's maybe a little bit flatter than you'd hope.
I
Um,
think one of the problems he has right now is so many titles change hands at WrestleMania that he doesn't want to, who wants to be the first to drop the title this soon after winning it. It's like Sami beating Gunther should have been a much bigger deal after WrestleMania. He should have been higher. It doesn't feel like he's higher up the card. He just feels like he's same place he was after the Bloodline story ended. Like he's there, he's a champion, but he's not really going anywhere because this Chad Gable thing's been going on since literally the day after WrestleMania.
you think the problem with that is Gunther's reaction to it? Like he
Mm.
lost, and the next night he was like, "Oh, I've elevated that title. I'm going to move on to the next thing." He didn't seem upset about losing the
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
And I think that took the kind of wind out of Sami Zayn's
Mm.
sails of he's done this amazing thing, 666 days,
Hmm.
and but then Gunther just went, oh well, I'm gonna win King of the Ring and then go win the world title. So
Yeah. If you look back and like when Warrior beat, Honky Tonk Man for like he was elevated and then moved on to beating Hogan at WrestleMania, be double champ.
mhm.
Sammy's not in that area where he's like on the road to being, in a world title picture, or he's not, obviously he's not going to with that title, but I don't feel like he's any better than he was beforehand. Like Sammy's brilliant. He's one of the best sellers in the company and in wrestling. I think he's just a great talent, but I don't think this title has done him any justice. And I think Chad Gable being Intercontinental Champion could actually really elevate it if we keep the story going with Otis and stuff.
Mhm. And my one final moan about it is the Intercontinental title looks boring. I think
Yeah,
if it was had a little bit of color, a splash of color, maybe a different colored strap or something, I think it would look a bit more prestigious and
bring
exciting to
back
look at.
bring back the white strap again.
I would even take the oval belt. Actually,
Mm,
I'd be an actually era kid, but yeah, there's something about it where I look at it and go, it doesn't feel like a prestigious belt. Gunther was prestigious because it's Gunther. Look at him. But I
yeah,
don't think I think it's one of those cases where the wrestler makes the belt, not the belt makes the wrestler.
yeah.
Whereas the white strap, old school, the belt made the wrestler kind of thing.
Mm.
Don't know if that makes sense at all.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't.
does. Yeah, yeah.
Brain age.
You
Anyway,
remember you remember the belt, you don't remember who was wearing it.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Next up we have Bayley against Piper Niven. Piper finally getting a chance to shine on SmackDown last week. If you got a chance to listen to her promo, if you watched that segment, that was her moment. I think that was her standout moment since she's been in WWE. That was one of the best promos I've ever heard from anyone really in the last probably under the Triple H era. What did you think of her promo, and what's your thoughts on this feud?
I think this is the one where I'm most unsure.
Mm,
I think for the tag title match, I'm pretty positive what's happening, who's going to win that. The WWE title match, yeah, fairly positive on the IC belt. I think more my heart is overriding my brain for the world title match, but this is the one I'm not sure about at all because Bayley's had the again she this is one of the few times where the climax was really good, but
mm,
the foreplay was terrible. Um, she won the belt and then that's it. Nothing's really been happening since. So why
mm-hmm.
not put it onto Piper Niven in Glasgow? Why not get that big moment for her, especially considering all things that for Piper. There's things that all she's went through. She mentioned some of it in the
Mm,
promo, but the fact that she's battled through things like cerebral palsy,
yeah,
the fact that this weekend coming up will be 5 years since Lionheart passed away. There's a lot of emotional things going into this. As someone who's watched her wrestle since God, when did I see her? I think I saw her wrestle live for the first time like 2013 or something like that. So to see it, 10 years
was
I've
back in the
watched her.
fucking first female days or something like that, was it?
Yeah, before then,
Yeah.
I saw her win a title in a Future Division title. It was called in Dundee in the
Mm,
Ardler Complex back in 2013, 2014.
mad.
And to see her now doing this, it's going to be emotional for me as a wrestling fan in Scotland that's seen her do this. But then again, but will like you're saying, Triple H, the era changed all these titles at WrestleMania. Are they going to just do it now, or are they going to let people have long, lengthy reigns?
Mm,
Does Bayley need to have a long, lengthy reign to justify her position in the card? That's the other thing. But I would love to see Piper win. I think as much as I would like to see other titles change hands and everything like that, I think Piper's the sentimental one for me, just
yeah,
because
yeah.
I've seen her wrestle for so long. Um, and the fact that, that her record in the Hydro isn't great either. I think it's 0-3.
Oh, really?
And it's all for ICW. She's been, I think every match though was for the ICW World Heavyweight title, World Women's World title.
Mm,
Um, so to get maybe that first win in the Hydro with the WWE Women's Championship, that'd be pretty cool as well. So yeah, I don't know what I want. No, I know what I want. I don't know if it'll happen. That's probably the better way to put it.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's it.
yeah, what do you think?
You're predicting with the heart. Like, I would really like her to have it. I know she's been around for a long time, and it's about time like she got this moment because she's been hit. They haven't done much. Sometimes they push her for a little bit, and then she disappears. Like, so under Triple H, I thought she would get a bigger push. So it's finally happening. Uh, I'm not sure if it's time for Bayley to drop the title yet because I know they already have Nia Jax after the Queen were at the ring. She's getting a title match at SummerSlam. So if Piper does win, I could see it end up being a triple threat and Bayley looking for a rematch. Maybe they'll throw it together because I don't think Bayley versus Nia on its own is a SummerSlam worthy match
Mhm.
for me. I would like to see Piper kept in the title picture. So whether she doesn't win here and gets on the SummerSlam or she beats Bayley, Bayley gets her rematch, but there's Chelsea interferes and they go on to SummerSlam, then I have a triple threat. I don't mind that. That will be a good story to tell with Bayley, getting her title back at SummerSlam or something like that.
Yeah, I would take a transitional reign just for the moment.
Just for the
It's
moment.
just for the moment. I would if Piper can say she's won the WWE Women's Championship in her home city, which is
Hmm.
Air. So
Yeah,
we're not
yeah,
going to split hairs with this,
yeah.
but yeah. So if she can say she won that title in her home country, um, and I mean, sure, some nerd will look at the Wikipedia going, "Oh, you only held it for 2 months." Who cares?
Doesn't
It's the
matter.
moment you
So
remember.
Drew's a three-time champion
I know they only won it in front of people once,
once for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
It doesn't matter. You look
Yeah.
at Ric Flair's 16 titles, some of them are only a day old. If anybody goes back and looks over some of them.
I mean, Edge is like
Yeah.
he won like 10 world titles, but I don't think they even like
If
add up
I know, yeah, it's
to
crazy.
much. It's just it's the moments you remember.
Hmm.
I think that's now that I'm old, as far as as wrestling goes as a fan. I think that's what you kind of realize that it's not about the matches, it's not about your 5 stars or anything like that. It's how
Hmm.
you felt at the
The
time
moments,
watching it.
yeah,
And seeing Piper win the WWE's Women's Championship in Glasgow, in
yeah.
Scotland, that would just be
Because they
wonderful.
can't they missed out on that kind of opportunity in Cardiff for Clash of the Castle where they didn't have that kind of moment with Drew beating Roman. There wasn't a hometown moment. You can't really call him singing with fucking Tyson Fury at the end of the show a moment. Like the best moment that whole show was probably Dominic turning on his dad and age. So having a moment in this, if it's not going to be Piper having a moment, is Drew going to have his moment winning a title in front of his home fans?
Has to, right?
Yeah,
I think, but now in hindsight, Clash in 2022 was right because the biggest thing they did was have Cody beat Robin, and we got the end game,
yeah.
got all that stuff. So
Hmm.
that was worth that, and we got Solo introduced, which added a new little thing to the bloodline. Watch us segue, and we're a couple of pros here.
And
Um, so so, but at the same time, do you drop the title off Damian Priest this early? But at the same time, with that, if you go down the history of Money in the Bank winners and their first reign as world champion, I don't think any of them lasted that long. I think maybe Seth, maybe Dean Ambrose, possibly.
Dean
I can't remember.
Ambrose, maybe what did he have? Did
I
he
think
have six?
he
Did
had
he
a
have
quite
six
good run.
months?
Yeah, because he had that thing with AJ Styles and
Yeah,
James Ellsworth and all that
he
kind of
was
stuff.
he was the first champion of that SmackDown, wasn't he?
Yeah,
That new
so
SmackDown. Yeah.
so I think he had it for a little bit. So generally, the Money in the Bank win over the years has been this is your testing run. If you do well in this run, then you're going to be staying in that area.
Hmm.
Edge being an example, you know. Um, Seth Rollins been perfect example. He made the moment. He became a fixture in the main event. So I wouldn't mind Damian Priest losing, but I think the body of work he's put in the last 2 months
Hmm.
is worthy of him to still be in the conversation for that title. Um, Even though a lot of it is just been like, yeah, it's just been he's kind of elevated his work in in
Yeah,
this last two
a
months
100%.
to deserve to be there. But again, sentimental. I want to see Drew win. I want to see the Ayrshire Massive of him and Piper at the end of the show. Why not holding both titles?
Are you doing a
They can
Eddie and Chris Benoit moment at WrestleMania 20
why
when they come
not?
out?
They can have a sing a song in the background while everyone they could do a little bit. They could do a oh God, I forgot what it's called. What's the slosh? They could do a bit of sloshing at the end
Slushing.
while everyone's doing the press conference. You can see in the background is Drew and Piper and get Alba and Isla out as well, just all doing the slosh at the end of the show. Why not? It's going to be but that would be cool. But I think it has to be right. It has to be Drew winning, surely.
What what happens with the CM Punk story? Are you expecting him to show up? Are you expecting him to leave him alone until he comes back with the title and come after him then?
I think I think we're gonna have maybe Drew wins. Amazing. Gallus has dispatched of the Judgment Day, and as Priest is lying there, as uncomfortable as he is, um, cult of personality will hit at that moment. Punk will take off the thing because I think when you think about it, what's Punk gonna do if he's facing Drew with nothing on the line? Punk's gonna be a prize fighter at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So even though Drew will have Gunther on the horizon at SummerSlam, right? Because wasn't it a brand specific world title, or was that kind of
Is it?
established?
Oh, it is too, isn't it? Is he on? He's on Raw, right?
Yeah.
He is on Raw.
So
Or is he?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he
because
is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Orton's on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I could see that's when it starts to get a little bit muggy.
Mm.
'Cause I don't want to throw in triple threats all over the place
Yeah,
because
no,
what's the
yeah.
point winning King of the Ring if you don't get a one-on-one match for the title? Um, so yeah, this is when it gets a little bit murky and muddy whether Drew will win or not because like you're saying with Nia Jax versus Bayley, is Damian Priest and Gunther a SummerSlam worthy match? But is
Mm.
Drew and Gunther a SummerSlam worthy
Hmm.
match? And then a year after Punk returned, Survivor Series, we get Drew versus Punk. But then do you put the title on. It's very complicated.
Yeah, it's
It's probably the most complicated wrestling's been in a little
but
while.
it's good, isn't it? Because it's unpredictable, and you can just like, ah, sure, that's going to happen. What's the point? You want wait? I'm not even going to stay up to watch it. I'm just going to go to bed. And I know it's going to happen. And you wake up next morning, and yeah, it's happened. But now it's like I have no idea what's going to happen. I think I should stay up and watch it, kind of thing, which is
That's
the
it.
best time.
That's it. That's I mean, even during the Thunderdome era, I stayed up for every show, just because I worked from home. I could look
Yeah.
at shite the next day. It didn't really matter for me. But it was kind of that thing you want to see what happened because they were doing all this kind of weird experimental stuff during the Thunderdome era.
Yeah, yeah,
And nowadays they're kind of still doing weird experimental stuff, but it's with our crowd reaction, so you know if it's gonna live or die in that moment.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, and plus, I mean, advantage for us is it's on at a reasonable time. We
I
can
know.
stay up, we
Yeah,
could
we
watch
can
it and
actually
go to bed.
go to
And
bed at a normal hour.
it's probably one of the first times still I'm going to stay up and watch I'm going to stay logged in and watch the press conference afterwards, just more so to see who I
Ooh.
recognize, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
At the same time, just going, oh, I know who you are, and then write them down in my book, going, they got me your tickets, I didn't. So, but yeah, so it's yeah, unpredictable. That's possibly the best way you put
Yeah,
it. That's the best way. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. And that's so far. There's 5 matches listed. That's announced. I'm not sure. Is there anything else planned? Or do you have anything else on your mind that they may have already?
Wasn't there a rumor that it's possibly going to be Logan Paul versus LA Knight, which I think is far too early to put it
Oh,
in at
ooh,
that point.
started. I can't see that. I think
No,
that's a SummerSlam match. To be
I would
honest,
say so
I
as
can't
well.
see that happening this quick. They haven't even had an in-ring promo battle yet. They haven't had any
Yeah,
face-off.
that's
They can't do it
way
the
too
last
early
minute.
for that. I mean, amazingly, what would be amazing, right? If Logan Paul appears, and I suggest this for Sami Zayn in my write-up, so I'm going to move it to Logan Paul. Logan Paul's going to come out. LA Knight's not getting a shot; he hasn't earned it, but he's going to offer an open challenge to anyone, and then he lists a bunch of names off from TNA, from WWE, throw in some AEW ones for the clicks, and then he says Joe Hendry,
Yes, he says
and
his name.
and Joe appears,
Yes,
and I think that would be
that will be amazing,
Joe Hendry
wouldn't
versus
it?
Logan Paul out of nowhere.
Out of
Yes,
nowhere,
please.
that will be fucking stupendous. Oh my God, I would cry. Oh my God, Jesus, I just want that to happen. No,
I know I'm ruining it. You know what?
will it into existence.
If not Joe Hendry, I'll easily take Madonna. You pay the money, Triple H. Pay for Hit Nation's version
Go
of
on,
Like a Prayer.
Grado. Come
Get
on.
Grado out there. But Joe Hendry versus Logan Paul, right? Man, that would be
Oh,
phenomenal.
that will be Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh my God.
Just gonna take a wee pause there, aren't we?
Yeah,
To
that's I'm
just
just
let that sink
fantasy.
in.
I'm going to fantasy book the shit out of that now until next week. Oh my God. It's brilliant though, isn't it? This new thing that WWE and the TNA have got going. Like, AEW and TNA tried something before and it was,
Mhm.
hit or miss. Like, but this has the potential to book, thread stuff throughout without, being a full on crossover.
I think in its early days, it seemed the AW TNA thing. The AW always treated TNA as beneath them.
Hmm.
I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
And it's very early days, and WWE could have a habit of just doing the same, but they treated Jordan Grace like an absolute
Ah.
megastar.
Hmm.
And if they do the kind of same with other TNA ones that possibly they're maybe trying to want to get once contracts go up, like a Joe, like a Josh Alexander, maybe
Oh,
I think Moose was possibly almost, but decided to stay with TNA at the time. So if even if it's them just kind of just doing a little bit of scouting work,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
we get the benefits of it, well, I'll take it. I wouldn't
Like
mind.
one off.
Get Mike Bailey on
Oh,
a NXT show. My new favorite wrestler after the press pass because
yeah.
he talked about Elevation X, and I think I fell in love with Mike Bailey a little bit in that moment, going, I I think we would get on, Mike. I think that's
Yeah,
possibly
you could
let's
bring
watch
your
some Elevation
son.
X.
You could go to him or bring him over for your son's birthday, his birthday, so you
Yeah,
have a double
joint
double
birthday party.
celebration. Like
Exactly.
that would be cool.
Exactly.
Like
We'll get Elevation X up and we'll just run it back. But
do
no,
a
it's
Twitch stream, watch along or something.
oh man, that would be ace. But yeah, so it's at the moment it looks mutually beneficial. If we get
Hmm.
Logan Paul versus Joe Hendry as well,
Even
money.
if we don't get Logan Paul and Joe Hendry, but just having Joe Hendry coming out for the hell of it, just
Yeah,
for one pop, just
have
he
him
comes out
appear, even if he
and
appears in the pre-show bit.
yeah, just
Why not?
say his name. He appears and he disappears again. He doesn't even do anything. He just comes out. People go mad and he's gone again. Just for that 5 second pop, just to
If
see
there's
what it.
if there's ever a place to do it, it's Glasgow.
Oh,
It's Scotland
I hope
anyway.
he's
Just do it.
available. I really hope he's available. I hope he's around that weekend. I hope he's
I
not
think
booked.
he booked in TNA on the Friday, so it's definitely not going to be a SmackDown. But never say never. Get a plane
TNA.
over.
Is that a recording? Recording episodes?
I think they're
Oh
recording
no, they
episodes.
have Against All Odds, don't they, this weekend as well?
Oh, that's it. Yeah. So Friday they've got against Thursday or Friday they've got against all odds, I think. But anyway, it can still happen. It can
They
still
can get him
happen.
over. They can get him over. Absolutely.
Surely.
Let's do it. Come on, Joe Hendry. Well, that's it. Like, I can't think of anything else. Like, they have teased the tag titles with DIY and Theory and Waller. I'm not sure that's going to happen at
I mean,
this.
that's pre-show match all over it, isn't it?
Well, they've been teasing that Theory and Waller have been maybe possibly turning on each other, or somebody's going to break. They're going to break up at some stage.
Do you think anyone? This is gonna sound really cruel. Do you think anyone would
Anyone
care?
cares?
I
I
like
think,
Grayson Waller. I do
I,
enjoy Grayson Waller's act,
yeah.
but I think Austin Theory has been since he won Money in the Bank, or since he was involved in the old Vince McMahon chose the one kind of thing,
Mm,
reborn. His stock has gone lower and lower and lower and
it's
lower.
just,
So who gives? Who cares if he
yeah.
does?
He hasn't been he hasn't been thought of highly since he was in the way with Johnny Gargano. Like back then, he
Yeah,
was the
he
comedy
was
act to Johnny
uh,
Gargano's.
Himbo Austin Theory, who's
Mm,
just a big, pretty stupid idiot.
yeah.
What do you think of the rumors, or maybe like two or three people on Twitter, saying that The Rock's filming in France, and you know how they like to have someone pop in
Mm,
to say, "Oh, why doesn't WrestleMania come to London,
yeah, yeah,
Australia?"
yeah, yeah.
Why? It'd be very random for The Rock to do it, but if he's got that connection with Gallus, you know, have The Rock turn up and go, "Why don't we do WrestleMania in Scotland?" And he's a shareholder, so he's got a little bit more sway than John Cena does.
Mm. Hampden Park or
Yeah, it would have to be Hamden. You
it'd be
can't.
Hampden.
I don't think they can get away with selling blue shirts at Parkhead, or so yeah, or
Murrayfield's probably a
Murrayfield.
better. It's
Murrayfield.
probably
There we
better
go.
connected, isn't it? It's
Oh, Murrayfield's
the tram
perfect to
line
get
is
to.
perfect there,
So we're willing Logan Paul and Joe Hendry, and also WrestleMania in Murrayfield. I think
and
that's a.
the weather they stay dry.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't
Oh
matter if it's
yeah.
cold, just stay dry.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been hailstones the last 2 weeks here
Oh,
and
it's just
rain. So I think
random.
that's possibly what would stop a WrestleMania at
I
this
think
time of year.
that's I think that's what's stopping them ever doing it outside of North America. The minute is they're outside of I think outside of Cardiff, like there's no retractable roofs and
Hmm.
anywhere really, is there in the UK or Ireland? Like Ireland
Don't think
doesn't
that.
stand a chance of getting anything like that because even our biggest indoor arena is like 10,000 max. But if you put
Mhm.
a wrestling ring in the push, seating back, you're down to 9 or 8,000. You
No,
know,
no, it's irritating about the hydro getting it, right? So I'm just using your podcast to moan now.
absolutely go ahead.
Um, is I think I could be wrong in saying this, but the hydro is not even the biggest arena in Scotland. It is P&J Live in Aberdeen. And I know why they wouldn't do it up in Aberdeen because it's like so out of the way
Yeah.
of your central belt and all that kind of stuff. But there's this airport next door. It's round about the airport. So I mean, I think Aberdeen was in the running for Eurovision, I think as well. When it came to the UK and Liverpool ended up getting it. So I think there's a bit of a disrespect to the Northeast here. Give us a pay-per-view. P&J Live. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Willing that one into existence. I'm
Let's
throwing
get
that
it
one in
up.
there as well.
Do all the Scottish promotions, do they all work together? Is there
Oh no.
no really?
No, there seems to be there's some crossovers, but I don't know what the Irish scene is. I know a little bit about the Irish scene, and I know that there's places that won't work with these places or that kind of stuff. It's kind of the same here.
Yeah.
There's some pockets of cliquey promotions that'll
Mm.
all work with each other, some that won't work with anyone else, or some that'll just yeah, it's a very I was speaking to Greg Lambert, who does the books, who did the British wrestling books,
Hmm.
and it was just he was asking me how the scene was, and my only answer was it's tense. There just seems something may happen that'll just kick off everything.
Yeah, yeah,
So something may happen that'll kick off everything in the negative. It's that kind of tense middle ground, and I've got to try and remain positive and talk about it all and report as much as I can about it and thinking this could bottom out very quickly. I don't know how.
yeah.
No reason for me to
It's
think that, but like
it's
a
a
feeling.
shame that it's the old can't we all get along kind of thing because
Mhm.
in here at Ireland with the 5 or 6 promotions that we have, if there was ever a chance to work together and do one big massive show, just to put on as big a show as they can would be phenomenal. Like, but there's always that cliche of who's going to go over on who or who's going to,
Mhm.
are they going to split the profits or who gets the most or who puts in the most money, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
it's
and
probably the same there.
it's the funniest thing with all these shows happening in for Clash at the Castle round about it.
Mm,
Like like one promotion announces a show on Saturday afternoon. Perfect. That's fine. That's going to be a money maker. And then another bigger promotion announces a show that'll start an hour afterwards, and it's round about the same area. You think, oh, this is I don't know like who booked first and all that kind of stuff, and that could be a case of that's just unfortunate how it's been announced, but it doesn't look good.
yeah.
It looks really petty. And I've just sit up in the northeast where I'm on my ivory tower, just looking down on it, going, that's just so childish to watch it all happen and play out, going, trying to figure out, oh, you could hit all these shows, but you only get to see 2 matches at this show because you'll have to leave to go to the next show. And it's just it's so funny. It's just I've been doing this for 10 years, over 10 years now, and you can see the pettiness unfold, and I'm like, how can people be doing it, not see how petty this looks to other
Yeah.
people? But that's just such a life.
I know it's a shame because it's as a wrestling community, within the wrestling, you have friends who don't like wrestling. They ask you, do you still like wrestling? There's enough stigmata against wrestling fans. Like they're all the same, or they're all nerds who live in their mother's basement kind of thing. Which isn't exactly the case. But when you're stuck in that stigmata against other people, you should be sticking together more than actually fighting amongst yourselves kind of thing. So it's a shame whenever promotions don't get along and they'll have this thing against each other when they're already
It's
fighting a battle on the outside.
it's the groundskeeper Willie thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wrestling fans ruining wrestling. It's yeah, it's just I don't understand it. I don't know if it's again. I've watched wrestling for so long now,
Mm,
over 25 years, that I'm just looking back at it and going, I shouldn't have to worry so much about all these kind of things when you could just sit back and go, I've seen all this now. I've
yeah,
just
no.
seen it all happening on the outside. And yeah, wrestling fans should get along, but at the same time, I can see why places don't get along. So it's a weird duplicity of trying to keep the peace.
This is
But
why I don't want to be involved in a promotion at all. Like
mhm.
I'm never going to set up a wrestling promotion because I don't have to deal with that shit either.
Yeah, that's fair. I've had people approach me saying, "Oh, do you want to use the Scottish Wrestling Network branding on shows?" I've been very hesitant, and I've been like, I would rather I want to know who you're booking before I would do it
Hmm.
at the same time. So it's just it's a very I think the more it's fine being a wrestling fan where you don't actually know anything deeper than just the show itself.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
once you start finding out stuff behind it, you're like, oh, this is a bit of a seedy
I
underworld a
know
little
you're
bit.
like, oh shit, I don't want to be involved in this at all.
But at the same time, I really love wrestling, so I want
I
to
know,
watch
yeah.
wrestling. You can't win. You can't win.
Just have to sit back. One of our catchphrases, my wife made up was, if it's entertaining, enjoy it.
Mhm.
But that's as much as we like to do is like if you like wrestling, enjoy it. Don't let anybody else tell you not to enjoy it. Just sit back and watch whatever you like to watch. It doesn't have to be wrestling. Anything you watch, if somebody doesn't like it, that's their prerogative.
That's it. I
You
mean,
just enjoy it.
there's promotions. There's Bleeding Gums deathmatch promotion, and deathmatch is not my thing at
Hmm.
all. I know it's not my thing. I've seen enough of it to know it's not my thing. But I know there's a market for it, and I've
Yeah.
spoken to the promoter to it, and he's so passionate about it. I'm like, yeah, amazing, do it. You keep doing it because people clearly want to see this.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't, I don't, but that's not for me to judge. If you like it, you go for it. It's going to be amazing. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule when if folk that are weasel back in that really shouldn't be.
Hmm.
There's that, but in general, if you like it, just go enjoy it. Switch
Yeah.
off for 3 hours and just enjoy the show.
Yeah, exactly. Um, well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Have you anything coming up? Anything you want to plug? This is your time to do it now. If there are any interviews or any shows coming up for you,
It's been very therapeutic. Thank you for very much for having me on.
absolutely, no
I've
problem.
just spent the last like 45 minutes just getting some thoughts and things out of my head. Coming up, I've got a couple of episodes have been recorded, so by the time this comes out, probably we'll be on the road to my 4 year anniversary episode, which will be with Judas Gray.
Nice.
Um, it's already been recorded. It's ready to go on the 21st, and we are in the process of doing the fourth day of birth of Bonanza. So it's my birthday episode where we do a quiz. It's generally has always went wrong, whether it's my counting or the guests and the contestants all arguing, which was what happened last year during a heat wave when I told YouTube megastar Alex Webb to fuck off because he started asking for additional points. So we were just, it was a very hot day. So I've got that. As far as shows I'm going to, I don't, I think I've got a couple in July, couple I'm hoping to take my son to his first ever wrestling show in
Nice.
August.
Brilliant.
Um, so that'll be in
Does he
Aberdeen.
watch it with you at home?
He's in the room. He's not really taking it in yet,
Yeah, yeah.
but he does know how to do a 3 count. He's got like this
Yeah.
3 foot iggle piggle that I bully, and then he throws it to the ground and lies on top of it and counts to 3.
Brilliant.
So I'm teaching him now because I've got to wait like a good 12 years before I can enroll him in anywhere to so I can leech off his success as like Johnny Fabulous, John Cena's dad, making his money after John Cena makes it big. I've seen mention John Cena an awful lot in this episode. Um, so yeah, other
May
than
never
that,
know. Maybe he'll show up.
maybe well, the light will glare off his bald spot, I'm sure. Um, he says bald. But no, other than that, I've got loads of ideas, whether they come to fruition on swnscotland.com, through our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I've always got an idea. Whether it happens is another thing entirely. So
But
yeah.
s- speaking of ideas, you mentioned quiz there. At the
Mm.
end of all, normally when we do interviews with people, we always do like a ten quiz, quick fire questions that we should know about our guests.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, off the top of my head, I'm going to ask 10 questions so everybody can get to know a bit more about you. Just kind of outside of wrestling, but some in between as well. So
Okay.
are you ready to play 10 things everybody should know about you?
Go for it.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Neither.
Oh, really? No hot drinks?
Nah.
Uh,
No.
beef or chicken?
Chicken.
Oh, hmm, KFC or
Uh, chicken. Yeah,
yeah,
KFC,
any
isn't it?
chicken at all.
Yeah.
High flyers or storytellers?
Storytellers.
Uh, did Brett screw Brett?
Oh, oh, yes, but not as severe as people are going to maybe shout at me about. But if you weigh it up, I'm going to go yes.
In the kitchen, are you washing the dishes or cooking up a storm?
Washing every
Uh,
time.
in your cupboard, are your cups the right way up or upside down?
Oh, right way up, because then you can stack them better.
Yeah, yeah. Favorite Scottish wrestler of all time?
Oh, there you go. There's a little cheeky one there. Does Roddy Piper count?
Yeah,
No,
you can do, yeah.
all time. I think it's hard not to say Drew. I think he's just out of worldly. So I'm going to go Drew McIntyre.
And favorite wrestler of all time who's not Scottish?
Jeff Hardy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Hardy Boys tattoo.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so
Is
yeah,
that,
it's Jeff
have
Hardy.
you got a favorite tattoo?
I really like my Mankind one. It's the Watchman
Oh,
or it's Watchman kind of
yeah,
logo with the
yeah.
Mankind mask. I really like that one.
Deadly.
But I've got a few. I like my little dinosaur as well. Wilbur. He was christened.
Wilbur, class.
So I've yeah, I have plenty. Yeah, probably the Mankind Mask is probably my favorite one. It looks amazing.
Yeah. If you could be any Marvel character, who would you be?
I would like to say Deadpool, but I know that I'd probably be some sort of really nerdy one. That
We're
like
all nerds.
no, I watched the X-Men First Class recently,
Hmm.
and I feel like I'd be Darwin. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to be able to adapt to everything, but then I die really stupidly. So I probably end up being that. But Deadpool, I'll go Deadpool.
Okay. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of favorite matches?
Probably could now. Edge versus McFoley WrestleMania 20 was it two? 22?
21 or 22? Yeah, yeah, 20.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah,
Because that
brilliant.
was I would watch that back again in a heartbeat. I'm going to throw in Jeff Hardy Undertaker ladder match from Raw, and I'm just going to keep it all WWE. It just keeps it safer in my mind, trying to like not explode. Throw in a TLC, one at X7 goes to the TLC WrestleMania X7.
Yeah, brilliant. That's 10 things. That's 10 questions. We could sit here and talk all day about them. I could think up a few more just off the top of my head. Like, but you are a big Jeff Hardy fan, so do you think
I
he's going to come back? Do you think he's going to TNA? Where do you think he's gone from AEW?
I would like him to retire and just be
Hmm.
happy.
Yeah.
I've had my fill of Jeff Hardy. I would just like him just to just be comfortable and happy and and not make me sad if he comes back and he's like
Hmm.
really slow and he looks in pain. Like I felt like that way with McFoley a little bit when he kept coming back and you watched him
Yeah.
going, "Oh, you look sore. You look like you're not having a good time here." So I
Yeah.
just want
Yeah.
Jeff to be happy and healthy. Please just get your Hall of Fame induction. Have Matt induct you. Matt will make it about himself. I know, but I love if I met Matt, I'd probably explode as well. But yeah, I would like Jeff to be happy and healthy. Please, Jeff.
Lads, that's the show. We're looking forward to. Like I said, we're talking about Clash of the Castle. So if you are watching, or if you want to let us know what your predictions are, leave them in the comments below. You can subscribe to Billy on the Scottish Wrestling Network, both channels. You've got two Twitter channels, right? Two X pages that you can follow, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Are you on TikTok or Instagram?
I'm on TikTok. I
Yeah.
don't know how to use it. I just scroll. Although though the video with I put the Grado at Wembley, I dubbed over with the Hit Nations like a prayer version,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
doing gangbusters. Um,
Brilliant.
called on my 50. So yeah, so that, but I don't really use it. Instagram we do use though, so it's at Scott Resnet as well.
All the links will be in the description as well, lads. So make sure you go check out Billy and all this stuff. If you are a fan of Scottish wrestling or wrestling in general, go follow him. And you can follow us at Irish Wrestling 8 on all our channels. And we will be back next week after Clash of the Castle to let you know how we get on over there and what we thought of the show overall. So thank you, lads, for joining the show. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.